Everyone is trying to sell you something. A workshop, a retreat, a trip to Iceland. It all sounds very convincing. Until you realize something slightly inconvenient. Everything you need to be creative, to make something really good, is already right in front of you. This is something that suddenly occurred to me, and it's both wonderful and terrifying because you haven't got any excuses.
We spoke about this before doing the video, and you mentioned it's the same for all mediums, whether it be photography, music.
Absolutely.
I thought you could mention maybe an example from each.
Well,
medium.
I can think of a few examples. For a start, obviously, we'll start with photography. William Eggleston, this sort of idiosyncratic kind of strange character, just wandering around his environment, taking pictures of seemingly mundane things and making them extraordinary. A ceiling fan, a light switch, just the kind of what you would regard as mundane, visually prosaic things. He makes them look extraordinary by scrutinizing them. It's a bit like he's an alien. He's been sort of come down in his spaceship and landed on Earth and is looking at these things without having any of the baggage. He's looking at them with fresh eyes.
You always say in photography you have certain pictures which stay in your head, in your brain. What's one of Eggleston's pictures which comes to mind?
There is a red ceiling fan, and the ceiling is painted red, blood red, and there's this fan, and it's lit in a really crude way with hard flash. And I can't get that picture out of my head. I mean, it's a mark for me of a great photographer is that most of his images are just etched into my memory.
Why is this one? Why do you think?
I don't know.
You have no idea?
I've no idea. It's just disturbing and strange.
All right, and then onto music.
Music, I would go for a brilliant Laurie Anderson, Oh Superman. So simple, and something that actually has been, the conspiracy theorists among us have started to say that she was prescient in that she predicted 9/11 because of the lyrics and so on. But getting back to the actual essence of the song, it's so raw, it's so straightforward, it's uncomplicated, it's unadorned, it's just simple and powerful. It's like a heartbeat. It's just elemental.
Another medium?
And finally, obviously, something that I've been getting more into is writing. And the thing that really popped into my head was Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, which is simply about kind of fantastical idea, a man who wakes up in his bed and suddenly realizes he's been transformed into an insect, possibly a cockroach. The idea is crazy, but the reason it works is it's the descriptive powers of the writer, because he's dealing in the details. You don't have to kind of go to far-flung places. It certainly helps, actually, if you're going to somewhere that you haven't been before, because you do see things afresh. But it's more important to just see things afresh, and you can do that, if you actually stop and breathe and connect. You can actually do that in your home environment. It's all there right in front of you.
And another thing you mentioned before we started filming was after your divorce, what you did.
Yeah, so this is when I kind of realized Vipassana meditation, which is about the most hardcore meditation you can do. At that point, I went a bit crazy. I couldn't control my mind. I was thinking all manner of things. I was clearly hurting. I was really struggling. And I was making my Survivor book. And Miriam, who helped me with the book, her husband had done this Vipassana meditation. And it had been something I'd been very scathing about. And I think it was something that my now ex, an area that she wanted to explore, a sort of spiritual side. And I was sort of rabidly atheist. I was dismissive of that kind of thing, the the realm of the mind and the spirit. I guess in order to show her that I was a different person, I sort of decided to do this. I mean, my motivation was really muddy. I did it for all the wrong reasons. I didn't believe in it. But it was only when I was in this retreat for literally 10 days, observing sensations on my body.
Explain exactly what you have to do over the 10 days.
Basically, you're a prisoner. They lock away your keys. They lock away your phone. You're not allowed to look at anyone. You're not allowed to talk to anyone. All you have is your internal monologue. And for me, that was revelatory, because up until that point, I was ruled by my thoughts. I was going round and round. I was trying to fix something that was unfixable. And what the two things that you learn when you meditate in that way, in a very serious way, you get up at 4:00 in the morning and you meditate all day, and you have little breaks, hourly breaks. The two things that you learn when you're observing these sensations is that they all pass. The universal law of impermanence. Everything is temporary. Everything passes. And you're kind of locked into getting back into the moment. And I remember that 3 days in, I suddenly realized that initially I couldn't concentrate. I was falling asleep. My mind was drifting to my situation with my marriage in tatters. And I was just distracted all the time. But then after 3 days, the dust began to settle and I began to acquire the skill of meditation. And I realized a whole hour had gone past, and all I'd thought about, all I'd noticed was my breathing. And that's incredibly comforting. And it's sort of foundational. It's basically who you are. Nothing else is really real except for that moment, your breathing, and you can sometimes feel your heart beating. And it's the same. I made this realization that basically the reason photography is enthralling to me is because you are truly in the moment, because you're capturing moments. But also, I like the fact that you're observing these sensations in a very dispassionate and absorbing way that gives you respite from these thoughts that you have of the future and the past, which aren't real. I mean, most of the things that we worry about in the future, AI, all these things, global instability, most of these things won't happen. Most of the things we worry about will never come to pass. And we've wasted all that energy worrying about them. But I've gone off on a tangent. We're not here to endorse Vipassana meditation, although I am an advocate of it. I haven't made it part of my practice. I don't really meditate. But I mean, I definitely think it's valuable to realize that the way that we see the world is a sort of operating system that isn't sometimes helpful to actually getting things done, because we're very adept at giving ourselves reasons why we fail or why things succeed, and we create a narrative. And meditation sometimes enables you to see things as they are rather than the way you want them to be.
Okay, enough about the meditation.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this video, just to finish it off?
Just because it's a really wonderful thing to know, because it's so easy to think, well, if only I can save up enough money to go to Sri Lanka, I can sort of do a piece of reportage about the Sri Lankan people, and those, as Martin Parr showed, the subjects in the UK, people right on your doorstep. There will be subjects. Do work about what you know about your own personal experience. Quite often, it's right there in front of you, and if you narrow the parameters and you actually dispassionately look at your life, quite often it's right there. There's a brilliant project right in front of you to be written about, to create music about, or to photograph. Yeah, I mean, I as I said, it's both simultaneously terrifying because you haven't got any excuses. There's no reason why you can't get up in the morning and just go out there and do it. But at the same time, it's a wonderful thing because there aren't any really... The barriers that we create are kind of created by us. Thanks for indulging me. Yeah. Like and subscribe.